King of the Ring has a messy legacy. Some winners became legends the fans absolutely loved. Others flopped so hard they became jokes. Today we're breaking down the best and worst King of the Ring winners in WWE history, and we're starting with the one that didn't just make a star, it launched a whole new era. By June 1996, Stone Cold Steve Austin was already stuck in a failed gimmick called the Ringmaster. He wasn't even supposed to win King of the Ring that year. Triple H was the original plan, but backstage heat from the infamous curtain call got him pulled from the spot. Austin stepped in and made the most of it. After beating Jake Roberts in the final, Austin dropped an off-the-cuff promo that gave birth to one of the most iconic catchphrases wrestling has ever seen. That one speech turned Austin from a generic tough guy into the foul-mouthed anti-hero who defined the Attitude Era overnight. Within a year, he was at war with Bret Hart and Vince McMahon. Within 2, he owned the whole company. Austin became a 6-time WWE champion, a 3-time Royal Rumble winner, and retired in 2003 due to neck and knee injuries. He's a Hall of Famer now, who still shows up to drop a stunner when the moment calls for it. That one tournament night remains one of the most important moments in wrestling history. But not every king gets a kingdom. Some just get a cardboard crown and a fast track to being forgotten. Baron Corbin's run as King Corbin is proof that winning the tournament means nothing if the fans don't buy in. By 2019, Corbin had already burned through multiple big pushes. His Money in the Bank cash-in flopped badly in 2017. His run as the on-screen Raw authority figure made him one of the most annoying acts on television. So when Corbin won the tournament, the crowd had already checked out on him. King Corbin leaned hard into the obnoxious gimmick, but the fans weren't booing because of great heel work. They were just flat out annoyed. WWE kept him in the crown for nearly 2 years, way longer than the bit had any right to last. By the time Shinsuke Nakamura ended the gimmick in 2021, most fans simply did not care anymore. But while Corbin's crown became a punchline, another king used his to completely flip his entire career.
Booker T spent years as one of WWE's most talented but underused performers. Then 2006 happened. He won King of the Ring, and instead of moving on, Booker turned it into a total character makeover. He became King Booker, a self-declared royal who spoke in an over-the-top English accent. It could have easily looked ridiculous, but Booker's natural comedic timing and his full commitment to the bit made it work. The real magic was when he got genuinely angry and the accent cracked. Suddenly, the old Houston-born Booker T burst through. That contrast became the fuel that kept the whole gimmick alive. The win led directly to his 6th and final world title when he dethroned Rey Mysterio for the World Heavyweight Championship. He left WWE in 2007, came back in 2011, and has been a commentator, Hall of Famer, and ambassador for the business ever since. And if King Booker was funny, what came next was just flat out frightening. Just months into his debut, Brock Lesnar was already being booked like a one-man wrecking crew. King of the Ring was simply the next step in the fastest rise WWE had ever seen. Lesnar demolished the competition before beating Rob Van Dam in the final. The win came with a guaranteed title shot at SummerSlam. No comedy, no royal court, just pure, scary dominance. At SummerSlam, Lesnar delivered on every bit of the hype by beating The Rock to become WWE champion at just 25 years old. He left WWE in 2004 to chase the NFL, detoured through New Japan and the UFC where he captured the heavyweight title, then returned to WWE in 2012 as a part-time destruction machine. He broke The Undertaker's WrestleMania streak, collected multiple world titles, and stayed one of the company's biggest draws for years. That 2002 tournament run was just the opening preview before the Beast's real rampage began. But if Lesnar's win was perfectly timed, 1995 gave us maybe the worst winner the tournament has ever seen.
Mabel was a heavy tag team performer from Men on a Mission who turned heel just for this push. The crowd in Philadelphia, sitting right near ECW's home base, was so unimpressed they spent the whole final chanting for the rival promotion instead. But Vince didn't listen. Mabel was immediately pushed as the next big monster heel, landing a WWF Championship match against Diesel at SummerSlam, where a botch left the champion legitimately injured. Things got worse in a feud with The Undertaker, where Mabel broke Taker's orbital bone and forced him to wear a bizarre mask for months. Just months after winning the crown, Mabel was let go due to poor crowd reactions and sloppy ring work.
He returned years later as Viscera and Big Daddy V, but King Mabel remains the ultimate cautionary tale every future winner has tried to avoid. Nearly 3 decades later, one winner finally showed the format could still produce a truly dominant king. Gunther's King of the Ring win in 2024 felt less like a big break and more like an obvious next step. By the time he entered the tournament, the Ring General had already held the Intercontinental Championship for over 500 days on the back of brutal chops and a hard-hitting style that made every match feel like a real fight. Beating Randy Orton in the final launched Gunther into the main event picture, and he ran with it. He's been at the top of the card ever since, trading the World Heavyweight Championship back and forth, and even being part of the retirement moments for both John Cena and AJ Styles. If Mabel proved the crown can't create a star, Gunther proved the real star doesn't even need the crown. He just makes the crown matter more. But while Gunther's win fired up his career, Xavier Woods became a victim of terrible timing. Winning King of the Ring was a lifelong dream for Xavier Woods. He had talked about it publicly for years, and when he finally took the whole tournament in 2021, it felt like the start of a real solo push. But the story stalled almost immediately. Woods had a brief feud with Roman Reigns, who crushed his crown on television. Then an injury hit, and the King Woods character quietly disappeared. Woods went back to his New Day role, and the win never became the springboard everyone had hoped for. It's one of those rare King of the Ring victories that people remember warmly, yet it did nothing for the winner's career. But if Woods got a bittersweet outcome, Harley Race set a bar most winners since have never come close to clearing. Harley Race winning King of the Ring in 1986 wasn't about elevating a rising star at all. It was WWE solving a problem they had created. Race arrived as an 8-time NWA World Champion, but WWF refused to acknowledge outside titles, leaving fans no real way to understand just how legendary this new signing was. The fix was a King of the Ring tournament held at house shows, where Race wrestled a wild 6 matches in one single night before defeating Pedro Morales in the final. The coronation that followed built the template every royal gimmick since has copied: the crown, the purple cape, the theme music. It worked because Race had the real presence to sell a king as someone to be feared, not laughed at. He never won a WWE World title, but he didn't need one. Race was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2004 and passed away in 2019, celebrated as one of the toughest and most respected men the business has ever had. But while Harley's coronation set the gold standard, King Sheamus couldn't live up to it. By the time Sheamus won King of the Ring in November 2010, he'd already been WWE Champion twice. That made the tournament feel like a step down instead of a step up. Making things worse, the crowd in the building was loudly cheering for John Morrison, the fan-favorite underdog he beat in the final. The win landed flat instead of loud. King Sheamus leaned into the heel heat, but the gimmick never really clicked the way earlier runs had.